morning after the Kamala catastrophe. She melted down in front of a national audience last night as a polite but persistent Brett Baer revealed that there's no there there. I'm joined now by Bernie Moreno, who has the same challenge to show that there is no there with Sherrod Brown. How does it go, Bernie Moreno, in your race for the Senate in Ohio?
It's going great, Hugh. I've been all over the state, barnstorming from the northwest of Ohio to your part of the state up in northeast Ohio. I'll be back in Warren tonight, actually, for an event with Senator John Kennedy. It's going to be fantastic. Look, we're exposing him. The media doesn't do their job. Brett Baer did last night. And when they're exposed, the American people and the people of Ohio will see these politicians are just fake. They're facades. They're basically not real people. They rehearse can lines and repeat them over and over again. People want real people to go down there and solve these real problems that we're facing.
You know, Bernie, you are very comfortable in Warren, all of northeastern Ohio, indeed across the Buckeye State. You may need a translator for John Kennedy in Warren. I mean, where are you going? Senator Kennedy's a frequent guest. I love the guy, but I mean, we don't speak Louisiana very well up in Ohio and Warren.
Well, we got to have a little diversity out there. We got to make certain that people hear the spirit of the South. But you know what? John Kennedy is a great voice for the conservative movement, and we're all united. We've got the entirety of the Republican Party together here in Ohio with one mission, which is to defeat Sherrod Brown. Hugh, 50 years, never had a job in the private sector ever, let alone create a business. And he runs the banking committee. It's a total disgrace. This is the year Sherrod Brown's time's up, and we're going to get rid of him.
No, you know what's interesting is you're showing up in Warren on the night the Guardians are playing the Yankees. Maybe that will be the mojo change we know. I know you're a big Guardians fan, Bernie, and I know that you're a big Browns fan, and that's not such a good story. But tell me a little bit about how Ohio feels right now. J.D. Vance is on the ticket. Donald Trump is going to win the state. How does it feel in the streets? Because there are a lot of problems in my hometown, and I'm sure throughout the state.
Well, as you know, Hugh, back in 1949, 6 of the wealthiest 14 cities in America were right here in Ohio. We were the glass capital, we were the steel capital, we were the computing capital, the consumer products capital. We made things here in Ohio, but because of terrible industrial policy, we shipped these jobs overseas, and we're going to bring these jobs back. We're going to do it by unleashing American energy. We're going to make certain that we're dominant in coal and natural gas and oil and nuclear. That allows us to have inexpensive energy that will allow us to build things here again. And people understand that politicians like Sherrod Brown that just say they're going to do it, but then fail spectacularly at it, it's time for them to go. Sherrod Brown ran for office and to go to D.C. after 20 years in state government in 1992 with two promises, Hugh: term limits and that he was going to restore manufacturing. We've lost 200 manufacturing jobs in Ohio, and this guy's been in D.C. for 30 years. He's failed spectacularly at both of his promises.
You know, Bernie Moreno, my brother has retired to Cortland, and my good friend Bill Sims sells Buicks up there at Sims Buick. I talked to them both when I was in Warren for my high school gathering this summer, and brother John tells me Warren's gotten very rough. The fentanyl problem is real. Bill tells me he's still selling a lot of Buicks, but it's getting harder because there isn't enough money in Ohio. How do you turn that around? How do you get manufacturers to go there?
Well, we have to create, again, like I said, a low energy environment so that energy costs are low, a good regulatory environment that doesn't choke businesses, a good tax environment that creates opportunities. And then someone like me, Hugh, when I go in front of a CEO and ask them to come invest in Ohio, they're going to listen to me because I speak their language. These CEOs meet with Sherrod Brown, they hightail it out of Ohio. I mean, this guy repels businesses for Ohio. If he shows up at a factory, chances are it's because it just closed. This guy's the grim reaper for businesses in Ohio. We're going to bring that back. And then look at some things, Hugh, like in the case of your friend that's a Buick dealer. Look, we have to stop forcing electric vehicles down people's throats. Sherrod Brown's all in for that. My point of view is let's freeze CAFE standards. Let's get rid of every EV mandate, every EV incentive. Let's allow customers to dictate the pace of innovation in the auto industry. And if we do that, we can make certain that companies like General Motors and Ford thrive here in America.
Bernie, my brother only had one daughter. She was a spectacular soccer player, and now his grandkids are spectacular soccer players, but they all live in Florida. My question, it did not come up last night directly, is do boys have to be allowed to play girls' sports in Ohio, or has the line been drawn and Mike DeWine standing by it?
Well, no, we actually had a great state reps and state senators that passed a bill to prohibit that. The governor vetoed it, but it was overridden. So that's illegal now in Ohio. But my opponent, Sherrod Brown, is all in for that. He thinks that men should play in women's sports, which is totally crazy, Hugh. Like, if we can't agree on basic things like that, if we can't agree that children should not get gender reassignment surgeries, then we're lost as a country. That's what Sherrod Brown believes. He's way too liberal for Ohio. The people of Ohio, you know that, Hugh, they don't believe things like that. I don't even know that people in Massachusetts or California really believe that. But California and Massachusetts currently have a third senator, and his name is Sherrod Brown. And we're going to finally have a new senator in me. I'll tell you something interesting, Hugh. Sherrod Brown loses 80 of 88 counties. And of those 80 counties, he almost never even goes there. This guy's a senator for Cleveland, Columbus, and parts of Cincinnati and ignores the rest of the state. I won't do that. I'll show up to every corner of Ohio and make sure we have economic opportunity everywhere in Ohio.
Bernie Moreno, I want to close by telling people your website is berniemoreno.com. Hard dollars matter, whether it's 25, 2,500. Go to berniemoreno.com. Give directly to Bernie. Bernie, you just mentioned three cities, Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati. There are significant Jewish American communities in those cities. I'm not Jewish. I'm a supporter of Israel. You're not Jewish. You're a supporter of Israel. But in Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati, there are significant communities of Americans of Jewish descent. Are they with you, given Sherrod Brown's party's hostility towards the state of Israel in this time of peril?
Well, it's not just Sherrod Brown's party, which is clearly anti Semitic. It's Sherrod Brown himself. This is a guy who said that the protests in college campuses, that the college students should be able to shout death to Israel. He's a guy that's all for favor of what we're doing to Israel, what the administration is doing to Israel, which is basically telling them how to fight their war, withholding weapons. Look, I'm proud to have the support of AIPAC, of the RJC, of the prominent Jewish families here in Ohio. And I'll tell you who else supports Israel: the evangelical communities all over the state. We were in Ottawa, Ohio, which is in Putnam County. Ben Shapiro was a keynote speaker. 700 people got a standing ovation. They handed him an Israeli flag that had been signed by everybody there. Look, Ohio loves Israel. Ohio will stand by Israel. We got to get rid of people like Sherrod Brown that don't. Let Israel do what they need to do to end Hamas and Hezbollah. And what America should do is make certain that we get rid of the regime in Iran and let the people of Iran have a democratically elected government.
Thank you, Bernie. I'm going to be in Columbus next week with Mike Gallagher. We'll spread the word. We'll do what we can. In the meantime, berniemoreno.com. It's maybe the easiest website in America to remember. berniemoreno.com. Not born in the United States, a legal immigrant to the United States. He understands this issue better than anybody else running, and he understands everything that Buckeyes care about. Thank you, Bernie.